Magandang hapon po, ito ang News TV Live. May press conference po ang Ombudsman ukol sa mga nakasampa na kanilang reklamong plunder kaugnay ng pork barrel scam. Panoorin po natin ito.
Issue. May I now request Aora Finance, sir, to read the official statement of the Office of the Ombudsman?
Good afternoon to everyone. Matapos ang masusi at patas na pagsusuri ng ebidensya ng bawat panig na pagpasyahan na hindi sapat ang kanilang pagsagot sa mga inihaing reklamo at may sapat na ebidensya na nagpapakita na mayroon silang pananagutan sa taong bayan. The Office of the Ombudsman found probable cause to indict Senators Juan Ponce Enrile, Ramon Bong Revilla Jr., Jose Jinggoy Estrada, as well as Janet Lim Napoles, and a number of government employees and non-governmental organization officers with plunder, punishable under Republic Act No. 7080 as amended, and violations of Section 3E of Republic Act 3019 or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act in connection with the Priority Development Assistance Fund controversy or pork barrel scam. By 3 joint resolutions, Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales approved yesterday the recommendations of the 5-member special panel that conducted the preliminary investigation of the separate complaints filed by the National Bureau of Investigation and Attorney Levito Baligod on September 16, 2013, and by the Field Investigation Office on November 18, 2013. In the joint resolutions, the special panel cited the sworn statements of Luis and his co-whistleblowers Marina Sula and Merlina Suñas, who detailed the sequence of events. The 2007 and 2009 Commission on Audit report documenting the results of the special audit undertaken on the PDAF disbursements, and reports of the field verification which secured sworn statements of local government officials and the purported beneficiaries of the supposed projects which turned out to be inexistent, which pieces of evidence either remained uncontroverted by mere denials or dovetailed with the affidavits of some respondents. On the charges for plunder, the joint resolutions concluded that the 3 senators took undue advantage of their official position to illegally divert, in connivance with certain respondents, the respective PDAF allocations to the Napoles NGOs in exchange for kickbacks commission amounting to more than 172 million in the case of Senator Enrile, 242 million in the case of Senator Revilla, and 183 million in the case of Senator Estrada, with the PDAF-funded projects turning out to be ghost projects under a modus operandi of a combination and series of overt criminal acts repeatedly taking place over a number of years. On the charges for violations of Section 3E of RA 3019, the joint resolutions uniformly found that the sets of respondents conspired in causing undue injury to the government in the amounts of 345 million in the case of Senator Enrile, 517 million in the case of Senator Revilla, and 278 million in the case of Senator Estrada from their respective PDAF allocations by receiving, in evident bad faith, kickbacks or portions of the diverted amount, and by manifestly being partial in the selection of the Napoles NGOs and the conduit implementing agencies, which resulted in unwarranted benefit, preference, or advantage to the Napoles NGOs, which were chosen without the benefit of the required public bidding, and which supposed projects turned out to be ghost projects. As to the violations of Section 3A of 3019, the number of counts showing commonality of criminal design per set of conspirators was determined from the common paper trail arising from either one, each special allotment release order or SARO, or every implementing agency NGO tandem if one SARO was split and coursed through different implementing agencies and NGOs regardless of the number of projects. In the case of Senator Enrile et al., the 144-page joint resolution on the two criminal cases found probable cause that Senator Enrile, Jessica Lucila Reyes, Ruby Tuazon, Janet Lim Napoles, Ronald John Lim, and John Raymond Diazes committed plunder. Likewise, in these two cases, the joint resolution found also probable cause to indict sets of respondents for 15 counts of violation of Section 3A of 3019. In the case of Senator Revilla et al., the 140-page joint resolution on the two criminal cases pertinent thereto found probable cause that Senator Revilla, Richard Cambe, Janet Lim Napoles, Ronald John Lim, and John Raymond Diazes for plunder. Likewise, in these two pertinent cases, the joint resolution found probable cause to indict sets of respondents for 16 counts of violation of Section 3E of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. In the case of Senator Estrada et al., the 120-page joint resolution on these two criminal cases found probable cause that Senator Estrada, Pauline Therese Mary Labayen, Janet Lim Napoles, Ruby Tuazon, and John Raymond Diazes committed plunder. Likewise, in these two cases, the joint resolution found probable cause to indict sets of respondents for 11 counts of violation of Section 3E of 3019. The joint resolutions describe the common scheme adopted by respondents in committing the offenses, wherein each of the respondent senators repeatedly received sums of money from Napoles for endorsing her NGOs to implement the projects funded by the senators' respective PDAF. This scheme or modus operandi has been described in the joint resolutions, which, as I speak, would be readily downloadable from the Ombudsman website. Meanwhile, the office dismissed the criminal charges as against Mark Oliveros, Editha Talabok, Delphine Nagkawili Jr., Daniel Balanova, Lucila Lawas Yutok, Antonio Santos, Lucita Solomon, Susan Victorino, Shir-An Montuya, insofar as the Enrile case is concerned, and Mylene Encarnacion, insofar as the Revilla and Estrada cases are concerned for insufficiency of evidence. That would be the official statement of the office.
Thank you very much, Assistant Ombudsman Rafanan. We are now open for questions from the media. We have a microphone. Kindly state your name and the media outlet you are representing before asking the question. Ms. AC Nichols from Solar. Microphone.
At yan po ang press conference na isinasagawa ngayon dyan sa tanggapan ng Ombudsman. Ayon kay Assistant Ombudsman Attorney Asriman Rafanan, kakasuhan sa Sandigan Bayan ng Pandarambong sina Senador Juan Ponce Enrile, Jinggoy Estrada, Bong Revilla at Janet Lim Napoles at ilang pang government officials. Ani Rafanan, ginamit daw ng 3 senador ang kanilang posisyon para malustay ang pondo ng bayan. Pinakakasuhan rin ng plunder sa Sandigan Bayan sina Attorney Gigi Reyes, Ruby Tuason, Pauline Labayen at Ronald John Lim. Ibinasura naman ng Ombudsman ang mareklamo laban kay Mark Oliveros, Delphine Agkawili Jr., Lucila Yutok at Maylene Encarnacion. Samantala, patuloy pong sinisikap ng GMA News na hingin ng panig ni Senador Juan Ponce Enrile, Jinggoy Estrada at Bong Revilla. Gayon din ang kampo ni Janet Lim Napoles at iba pang mga kakasuhan sa Sandigan Bayan kaugnay ng pork barrel scam. Balikan po natin ang press conference dyan sa Ombudsman.
Yeah, Ms. Ruby Tuason formally applied in writing her request for immunity. The office, however, resolved first the question as to the liability of Ms. Ruby Tuason and the rest of the respondents before studying or considering the request for immunity because there would be no need for immunity if in the first place he would not be found liable. So the office resolved first the question of liability before the grant of immunity.
Meaning, sir, later on, pwede pa rin mag-grant yung request for immunity?
Yes, subject to the discretion of the Ombudsman.
Thank you, Ms. Nichols. Jill Resanto from
Sir, to clarify,
DWIC.
so nakapending ba yung request for immunity ni Rose Tuason and Cunanan po? Nakapending. It's not yet resolved. Ganun po.
Yes, it's being studied as of the moment.
As well as Mr. Cunanan, sir, will be clarified.
Records show that of the respondents, only Ms. Ruby Tuason formally applied in writing, expressly requesting immunity. If there have been informal requests done by Mr. Dennis Cunanan, it could be under or traced in his submitted counter affidavit. So if those requests, formal or informal, would be considered, it would be jointly considered with or studied and resolved jointly with that of Ms. Ruby Tuason.
Ms. Nancy Carvajal of the Inquirer.
Okay, sir. Those who were dismissed in the charges they were lawyers, yung notary public. How come they were not included anymore? How come they were dismissed?
Yes, the dismissal of the charges as against the named individuals a while ago were dismissed, but without prejudice to whatever administrative liability that may be found in the proper proceedings, in the proper venue for any possible violation of the notarial law, or for violation of the lawyer's oath, or by violation of pertinent laws and rules issued by the Professional Regulations Commission, with respect to the certified public accountants. There are 2 individuals there, however, whose cases were dismissed also due to insufficiency of evidence, but they are not lawyers, notaries public, or CPA. No? These are, I think, Sharon Montoya and Maylene Encarnacion. So, insofar as the non-notaries public or CPAs are concerned, the evidence shows that their participation, if any, in the course of events was not indispensable in the commission of the crime, or took place after the crime was already consummated.
When are you going to file the case before the Sandigan? Will it be inevitable?
The informations will be filed with the Sandigan Bayan after the resolution of the motions for consideration, if any is filed by the respondents, or after the lapse of the period to file a motion for consideration if no motion for consideration has been received by the office. They have 5 days from receipt of the resolution to file a motion for reconsideration.
So 5 days starting.
From receipt. So the service would be would start as we speak, and the personnel of the office have been mobilized to effect the service of the
people involved.
It depends on the Metro Manila traffic for personal service, and for some respondents indicate their address as far as I think Pampanga, and I think in that case registered mail.
Sa puntong pong ito, makakausap natin si Attorney Joel Bodegon, abogado ni Senador Bong Revilla. Magandang hapon po, Attorney Bodegon.
Magandang hapon po naman.
Sir, narinig nyo na siguro yung recommendation ng Ombudsman or yung resolution na ipinalabas ng Ombudsman. Ano pong masasabi nyo dito sa ipinalabas na resolution sa Office of the Ombudsman?
Ang masasabi namin dyan, offhand, hindi pa namin nababasa yung resolution nila, talagang minadali ng Ombudsman na ilabas yan. At kanila hindi man lamang nila isinantabi yung Supreme Court dahilan merong naka-schedule na oral argument sa April 22 sa Baguio City dahilan nasa summer session ng Supreme Court doon sa aming application for TRO para pigilin nga yung preliminary investigation ng Ombudsman dahilan sa meron kaming prejudicial question na i-raise doon sa civil case na final ni Senator Bong Revilla laban sa mga whistleblowers na humihingi na ipabaliwala o i-nullify yung mga PDAF documents at hingin na accounting at isoli ng mga whistleblowers sa pangunguna ni Ben Hurluy yung mga pera sa PDAF na ninakaw nila.
So sir, tama ba ang pagkaintindi natin, hindi nyo na ito papansinin yung parang prescribed period na pwede maghain ng MR sa Ombudsman? Kasi ito yung sinasabi ni Attorney Asriman Rafanan, yung Assistant Ombudsman, na binibigyan kayo ng 5 days upon receipt of that.
We will avail of that. Definitely, we will avail of that. Kasi para sa amin, dapat naman bigyan kami ng pagkataon na makapag-file ng motion for reconsideration at on the part of the Ombudsman upang ito naman ay magkaroon ng pangalawang pagkakataon na kanilang tingnan uli yung record ng kaso towards probably changing their minds about their finding of probable cause. Kasi ang aming posisyon at ayon na lang, base na rin sa ebidensya na sinumiti namin sa Ombudsman, kasama na rin yung mga ebidensya na sinumite ng mga complainants na napapaloob dyan yung mga deklarasyon o statements ni Ben Hurluy, talagang walang kaso ng plunder against Senator Bong Revilla. Dahilan sa inamin na rin ng mga whistleblowers na yan na pinekingan nila yung mga PDAF documents. Ngayon, kung peke at kanilang pinords yung signature ni Senator Bong Revilla, yung mga PDAF documents na yon ay hindi binding kay Senator Revilla. Nangangahulugan lamang na ginamit nila yung mga peking dokumento na yon para sila mismo ang magnakaw ng PDAF money at ito'y kanilang sinarili. Ngayon, kung maaalala ninyo, ayon sa pahayag ni Senator Bong Revilla sa Senado nang siya ay magtalumpati sa kanyang privilege speech, sinabi niya na kahit na yung listahan na ayon kay Ben Hurluy kanyang ginawa na naglalaman ng mga pera ng itemization ng mga pera na binigay niya sa mga mambabatas, kasama na si Attorney Cambe na staff ni Senator Bong Revilla, may 2 o 3 entry doon na sinasabi na nagbigay siya ng pera kay Attorney Cambe. Sa katotohanan, nung mga araw na yon, si Attorney Cambe nasa abroad.
Yes.
Kaya sinasabi nga ni Senator Bong, falsus in ono, falsus in omnibus.
Yes, sir.
Ibig sabihin, dahil may hindi totoo na tinuran doon sa listahan, yung buong listahan
Yes, sir.
hindi dapat paniwalaan.
Okay, sir. Maraming salamat, Attorney Joel Bodegon, abogado ni Senador Bong Revilla. Sa punto pong ito, makakausap natin si Attorney Raji Mendoza, ang bagong abogado ng pork barrel scam whistleblower na si Ben Herluy. Magandang hapon po, Attorney Mendoza.
Magandang hapon, Chino.
Sir, ano yung reaction nyo? Vindication ba itong paglabas sa ombudsman ng kanilang resolusyon na nagre-rekomenda ng pagsasampa ng kaso dun sa mga senador na binabanggit ng inyong kliyente?
Kausap ko po si Ben Hol kanina. Sabi naman niya na satisfied siya dun sa lumalabas. Sa mga so far sa resulta dun sa pronouncement sa Senado saka dito sa ombudsman po.
Sir, ano bang masusunod yung hakbang ngayon na yung ombudsman ay nakatakdang yung mga pleadings and yung mga MR na prescribed period ay ihahain nila yung reklamo sa sa Sandigang Bayan. Ano po yung susunod na hakbang sa inyong panig?
On our side, marami pa po kaming kailangan gawin tungkol naman sa ibang mga kaso.
Sir, may kinalaman ba ito sa yung sinasabi iba pa na sangkot din at na alam din o may personal knowledge din si Ben Herluy doon sa iba pang mga sangkot sa PDAF scam?
Opo, kasama po yun. Tsaka yung tungkol sa Malampaya.
Yes. Sir, yung ano po yung nakausap nyo ba yung inyong kliyente? Ano ba siya? Nagbubunyi ba siya? O ano ba yung kanyang disposition sa mga sandaling ito? Siguro nakinig siya kanina sa Senate Blue Ribbon Committee press conference at maging dito sa ginagawang press conference ngayon sa Ombudsman.
Hindi naman siya nagbubunyi, pero he was very satisfied. No? He was very satisfied na kahit pa paano, yung sacrifices niya, yung pagod niya, tumatakbo. Nakikita na natin na merong direksyon.
Right. Sir, satisfied din ba siya sa handling ngayon ng kanyang status as state witness dito sa kaso ng PDAF?
Opo, okay naman po ngayon yung na-secure na po natin yung mga paperwork to formalize yung kanyang immunity and na-secure na rin natin yung mga ibang bagay na kailangan pang ayusin on his behalf tsaka sa mga kasama ng mga witnesses.
Right. Sir, may linaw na ba yung napabalitang pinasasauli rin daw sa kanya itong mga sinasabing pag-aarian niya o mga ari-arian niyang nakamkam niya rin daw di umano dahil sa kanyang pagiging sangkot dito sa pork barrel scam now that we're talking about yung immunity niya na rin at yung status niya as state witness?
We just filed our special entry of appearance in that case. At una-una, question po natin na on jurisdictional grounds yung kaso na yun. Nilagay po namin doon. We had various grounds. First of all, yung authority, yung pag-serve ng summons, yung indispensable parties kasi kiniklaim nila na dapat solid daw allegedly government funds na kay Ben-Hur. So, dapat kasama diyan yung gobyerno, yung mga pangay ng gobyerno tulad ng COA o ng mga implementing agencies, hindi po nila sinama. So, isa yung tatlong yon and other reasons pa. All on jurisdictional grounds.
Okay, maraming salamat Attorney Raji Mendoza, abogado ng whistleblower na si Ben Herluy. Bago nito, ayon kay Assistant Ombudsman Attorney Asriman Rafanan, kakasuhan sa Sandigan Bayan ang pandarambong sina Senador Juan Ponce Enrile, Jinggoy Estrada, Bong Revilla at Janet Lim Napoles at ilang pang government officials. Ani Rafanan, ginamit daw ng 3 senador ang kanilang posisyon para malustay ang pondo ng bayan. Pinakakasuhan rin ng plunder sa Sandigan Bayan sina Attorney Gigi Reyes, Ruby Tuason, Pauline Labayen at Ronald John Lim. Ibinasura naman ng Ombudsman ang mareklamo laban kay Mark Oliveros, Delphine Agkawili Jr., Lucila Yutok at Maylene Encarnacion. Kaugnay naman kay Ruby Tuason, ayon kay Assistant Ombudsman Attorney Asriman Rafanan, nire-resolba daw muna ang liability ni Ruby Tuason bago pag-aralan ang kanyang application for immunity. At yan po ang mainit na balita sa oras na ito. Tutok lang dito sa GMA News TV para oras-oras alam mo. Ako po si Chino Gaston. Magandang hapon.